Why Daemon's rage explodes in Season 3, Betrayal Breakdown. Daemon Targaryen has always been a powder keg wrapped in leather and bad decisions. But what we're about to see in Season 3 isn't just anger. It's a volcanic eruption of rage so intense it makes his previous temper tantrums look like mild irritation. We're talking about a man who has spent his entire life being the scariest person in any room, suddenly losing control so completely that even he doesn't recognize himself anymore. What pushes the Rogue Prince past his breaking point? What makes a man who has already committed every crime imaginable finally snap so hard that Westeros itself trembles? Let's break down the betrayal, the fury, and the absolute carnage that's coming. If you're obsessed with understanding what makes these Targaryens tick before they explode, hit that subscribe button and smash the notification bell, because Season 3 is going to be an emotional war zone, and you need to be prepared. First things first, we need to understand that Daemon's rage isn't new. This man has been angry since birth. Probably came out of the womb ready to fight the Maester for slapping him. But his anger has always been channeled, weaponized, used as a tool to get what he wants. He's angry at being passed over for the throne. He becomes the Rogue Prince and forces everyone to pay attention. He's angry about the Stepstones. He crowns himself king with a makeshift helmet and a lot of audacity. His rage has always had purpose, direction, a target he could hit with Dark Sister or burn with car axes. Season 3 is different because this time, the target of his rage is everywhere and nowhere all at once, and that makes him infinitely more dangerous. The foundation of Daemon's explosion is betrayal, but not the kind you're thinking. Sure, there's political betrayal, military betrayal, all the standard Westerosi backstabbing we've come to know and love. But the betrayal that truly breaks Daemon is more personal and more devastating. He feels betrayed by destiny itself. This is a man who genuinely believed, that he was meant for greatness. Not just any greatness, but the kind written in prophecy and song. He thought putting Rhaenyra on the throne would be his legacy, his purpose, the thing that justified every questionable choice he ever made. Instead, he's watching everything fall apart, and there's no one to fight, no enemy to kill that will fix it. Now let's talk about Harrenhal, because you cannot understand Daemon's Season 3 rage without understanding what that cursed fortress did to his psyche. He spent weeks, maybe months, trapped in a place that weaponizes guilt and regret. Every ghost, every vision, every nightmare was designed to make him confront the worst parts of himself. And here's the kicker. Daemon has never been good at introspection. He's a man of action, not reflection. Forcing him to sit with his demons, to acknowledge his failures and his fears, it's like forcing a shark to stop swimming. It goes against his fundamental nature, and it broke something inside him that might never be fixed. The ghosts showed him things he didn't want to see. His brother Viserys, disappointed in him. Young Rhaenyra, before everything went wrong, looking at him with hope he knows he's failed to live up to. Possibly even glimpses of futures that could have been if he'd made different choices. That kind of psychological torture doesn't just fade when you leave the building. Daemon came out of Harrenhal technically alive, but spiritually shattered. And a shattered Daemon is an unpredictable, uncontrollable force that even his allies should fear. But wait, because the hits keep coming. When Daemon finally escapes his personal hell and returns to Rhaenyra, he's expecting, what exactly? Gratitude? Recognition? Maybe just acknowledgement that he secured the Riverlands for a cause. Instead, he finds a woman who has moved on without him, who has made decisions in his absence, who has formed new alliances and strategies that don't center him as the solution to every problem. For a man whose entire identity revolves around being indispensable, this is worse than any physical wound. It's erasure, and Daemon would rather burn the world down than be erased. Here's where the rage starts building to explosive levels. Daemon begins to see betrayal everywhere because his paranoia has been cranked up to 11 by trauma and isolation. Every whispered conversation he's not part of feels like conspiracy. Every strategic decision made without consulting him feels like disrespect. Every moment Rhaenyra turns to other advisors instead of him feels like replacement. Is he being irrational? Absolutely. Is his rage justified? That's debatable. But is it understandable from his warped perspective? Unfortunately, yes, and that's what makes it so dangerous. The relationship between Daemon and Rhaenyra becomes ground zero for this explosive rage. They're not just spouses, they're war partners, co-conspirators, two people who were supposed to burn the world together. Except now, they're burning each other instead, and the collateral damage is going to be catastrophic. Every argument becomes a battle. Every disagreement becomes a betrayal. The intimacy that once bound them together now gives them perfect knowledge of exactly where to strike to cause maximum pain. It's like watching two dragons locked in combat, beautiful and terrible and ultimately destructive to everything around them. And then there's the council scenes. Oh boy. Imagine Daemon, already simmering with rage and paranoia, sitting in council meetings where Rhaenyra's other advisors dare to have opinions. Corlys Velaryon, trying to be the voice of naval strategy. Mysaria, whispering intelligence and suggestions. Even loyal supporters offering alternatives to Daemon's usual solution of violence and dragonfire. He's going to lose it spectacularly, and we're going to watch a man who once commanded respect through sheer intimidation become the unhinged loose cannon that everyone fears but nobody trusts. The shift from respected to merely feared is going to eat him alive. But here's the really twisted part. Some of Daemon's rage is actually righteous. Not all of it. Let's be clear, a lot of it is just him being himself on steroids. But some of his anger comes from watching Rhaenyra make genuine mistakes, seeing her trust the wrong people, observing her hesitate when action is needed. He's watching the woman he put on a pedestal prove she's human, flawed, capable of error, and he cannot handle it. He needs her to be perfect, because if she's not, then what was all of this for? What were all his crimes and sacrifice? The final piece of this rage explosion is witnessing the death of his dream. Not the dream of Rhaenyra on the throne. That's still technically possible, even if it's looking grim. No, the death of his dream that he could be the hero of this story. Daemon wanted to be remembered as the king consort who saved the dynasty, the warrior who secured the succession, the legend who fulfilled prophecy. Instead, he's becoming the cautionary tale, the villain of his own story, the man whose rage and violence caused as many problems as they solved. Watching that realization dawn on him is going to be absolutely brutal. Season 3 Daemon is going to be a masterclass in how trauma, betrayal, and unchecked rage can corrupt even the most formidable individuals. We're going to watch a legend become a cautionary tale in real time, and it's going to hurt. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.